Primark, baby. Affordable fashion.
It's cheap, it's fashionable and exclusive. Primark, known for its low prices and huge collections. What once started as a small store called Penny's in Dublin, Ireland, has grown to one of the biggest chain stores in Europe, with a total of 256 stores in 8 countries. The company is making huge profits, and €1 of every 10 spent on fashion is spent in Primark shops. But what makes Primark so successful?
Ja, iets voor mijn zoon en vaak voor mijzelf kom ik hier iedere vrijdag.
Oké. En vindt u Primark een leuke winkel?
Ja,
Ja?
zeker.
En waarom dan?
Omdat ze zijn altijd in de mode. Engels hè? Ze zijn altijd op de hoogte wat de mode is. In een prijzig, heel prijzig, heel goedkoop.
And do you like the Primark?
Yes.
And why do you like it?
Nice stuff. Low price.
Okay. En wat vindt u Primark een leuke winkel?
Nou, ik ben er voor het eerst volgens mij. Het valt me op dat het voordelig is. Dat het een beetje... dat er zijn handigheidjes van zo'n tas. Die je zo lang kan maken volgens mij. Daar kan je makkelijk kleren in stoppen. Het is een beetje supermarkttype hè?
Ja.
Voor een prima. En ook de kassa's. Er zijn heel veel kassa's op een rijtje. En dan hoor je wanneer er eentje vrij is. Dan wordt het geroepen.
Ja.
Dus dat vond ik wel handig.
However, is Primark really as good as it seems? Or is there a dark side behind their product? What is really behind those cheap products? How is it possible that Primark sells products at such low prices? First of all, Primark says that they buy their items from companies that have gone bankrupt, which results in a big reduction of the price. Another reason, which doesn't directly come from Primark but is well known, is that the quality and the construction of the clothes are poor, so they are less expensive to make. Also, Primark buys massive amounts of the same clothing, which makes it cheaper for them and also cheaper for the customer. The final reason is that the company doesn't spend a lot of money on commercials like other clothing companies. These seem like a fair number of causes, but let's look at them more closely. It cannot be that Primark buys their clothing every time from companies which have gone bankrupt, because that doesn't happen all the time. And if it is so easy to find companies that have gone bankrupt, why haven't other clothing companies copied this method? Secondly, the quality of the clothing of Primark is not much worse than the quality of the clothing of the H&M, while they do have normal prices. So this doesn't explain why they are so much cheaper. For what reason have there been so many protests if there is nothing wrong?
Find out the true cost of Primark clothing!
People can't pay for a living, what Primark is giving. Making clothes is very tough, Primark doesn't pay enough. Making clothes is very tough, Primark doesn't pay enough. People can't pay for a living.
Paid as little as 7 pence an hour, some working up to 80 hours a week, according to the charity War on Want. That's how they describe conditions for Bangladeshi factory workers making garments for Primark, Tesco and Asda. As campaigners protested outside Primark's flagship London store this morning, all 3 retailers denied the allegations. But protesters say massive increases in food prices are crippling low-paid workers.
So there might be something wrong. How is it possible that the clothes are so cheap? On the 3rd of December, an organization called War on Want wrote the following. War on Want is an organization which fights poverty in developing countries. They have demonstrated several times in front of the Primark. So there's something mysterious around Primark. What could it be? Is there something wrong in the production? Or is there child labor involved? Or sweatshops? Most people are quite aware of the fact that something isn't right with the low price of Primark's clothes. This woman explains what Warren Want found out when they went to India and Bangladesh.
We want to make it really clear that we're not happy with fast fashion that doesn't pay workers a living wage. I've just come back from Dhaka in Bangladesh, visiting some of the garment workers that work for Primark, where many of them go without adequate food, have to work more than 14 hours a day, and live and work in conditions that you simply wouldn't believe. It's Slumdog Millionaire, but with the heat and with the smell, and certainly not at all glamorous and no way to escape.
From this we can conclude that the working conditions in the production chain of Primark aren't always following the ethical standards. Can we really blame Primark for this? Because the cause of the low wages of the workers are the companies delivering to Primark. But still, Primark is the one that demands the products to be so cheap. Nevertheless, Primark is trying to improve the situation. They have even agreed a cooperation agreement in which they are checked if they give their suppliers a fair fee. But whether they can really keep up their promise still remains the question.